The Avalon energy, the Merlin energy was coming through very strongly. And the Avalon energy presents itself in this particular narrative as a dimension where all things are possible through belief and through intent, and particularly magical and miraculous things. And because that realm lives within this realm of man, we always have access to it, but it requires belief. So that goes back to this theme tonight of we need belief in order for magic to happen in our lives. And just like having, the faith the size of a mustard seed, it doesn't take much, but it does take that willingness to say, I don't have the optimism right now. I'm not seeing the physical evidence of what I'm believing in, and yet I am going to continue to remember that what I'm seeing physically outside of myself is the past representation of my thoughts, feelings, and actions. And so that's when we turn inward again and we're able to really stay within that pocket of the present moment, which allows us ultimately then to know with certainty that we are just walking toward that which we desire. So this Merlin consciousness is about alchemy. It's about changing one substance to another, particularly a very dense substance into a very light substance. And going back to this whole weave ending where it begins with episode 6 and recognizing the hijack, um, this feeling of many traps being available to fall into in this mind virus. Spirit's saying all of that is happening at the same time as we have this year of alchemy, justice, and balance. So if 2020 was this revisioning process for humanity, and 2021 was who is becoming a spiritual adult, who is becoming sovereign within themselves, then 2022 is all about changing these dense and heavy substances into much lighter frequencies through the alchemy of justice and balance. And once again, we are encouraged, like we were last week, to be in the world, but not of it. And what does that mean? Well, that means we are not, necessarily like hunkering down and hiding in a place where we're not having interaction or we're not experiencing the world as we would as, a quote, regular, ordinary human. It means that when we are in the world, we are recognizing that it is not our truth. And the second we begin to take the world's truth on as our truth, it can feel like a very heavy blanket, a very heavy burden. It can even feel like one of those x-ray vests that they put on you. And the second that we start to feel our body contract, we can step out of that. And once again, like the way Christ said, we can take that cloak off, or we can let it rest on our shoulders, however it is comfortable for us. But we begin to observe when we are taking on the heaviness or the weight of the world, as opposed to remaining in our own frequency. And we're being given a lot of chances and opportunities to kind of wield new weapons, wield new tools and resources that maybe we haven't in a long time. And a good friend of mine who is in our signal groups was chatting about this week, about how in her games she is wanting to help her players become better players by kind of making life really hard on them for a little while, making sure they don't die in the process, but making sure they kind of have to pull out some of the stops that they haven't used for a while. And one of her revelations as she was doing this was that, man, like that's how God works. And that's really kind of the cauldron or the gauntlet or the crucible, as Spirit called it last week, that we are all in right now. We are getting, the water squeezed out of our wash rag to see what we're really made of. And some of the things that have been these things that we could just rely on to hold us up or to crutch, our life, or to kind of kick the can along, simply are not working moving forward. So this year is a messenger of initiation and alchemy. We are changing this iron into gold and transforming this substance into another with the power of our intent. The lyrics, redemption will come for your soul. I'll just call it a feeling. So once again, this notion from Spirit that this is not going to come from our intellect or from mentally pursuing something. It's going to come from our instinctual, intuitive felt sense. And Spirit wants us to know you have all you need to move forward. And as soon as I had written that, the lyric was, will you start to believe it? So once again, magic is belief, and belief is magic. All the elements required for our success are indeed present. The lyrics, I've been trying to find my way to leave, stuck in the belly of the beast. It's getting hard to breathe. Broken down, I'm turning in my sleep. Nothing is too steep. I'm trying to find my peace because I've been feeling up, down, put out, lost counts of every sin, just trying to find a new way, true say, real change. It's not too late. And that was on the song Something Beautiful. And Spirit wanted us to know that the Holy Spirit is acknowledging that the human is feeling this way, that it is not necessarily always an enjoyable or especially easy journey, that they say, it's simple, but it's not easy. And we're being encouraged from Spirit that this magical aspect of the Merlin consciousness can actually be summoned into our lives right now. It is a part of us, and it will help us find answers that are already within us. And Spirit wants us to know that justice is going to be done right now, both personally and collectively, but not by forceful action. And this is where we have to understand that divine justice is different than human justice. We may long for a particular outcome in the realm of human justice and become very disappointed when that system does not meet our expectation. But we have to trust that divine justice is always done, and it's done in the most beautiful way, in the most miraculous way, in the most healing and humbling way, and sometimes often the most humorous way, and never by force. And so we're being asked to be honest and ask ourselves what is necessary right now to bring our lives into balance. Are we working too hard? Are we overthinking things? Do we have enough downtime or ability to receive and rest and kind of uplift ourselves to get those codes that we need to thrive instead of just survive? Spirit is saying that the answers we need will not be found in obvious places, that it is time to go within through meditation and prayer and to ask Spirit and the Merlin's magical influence to send us signs, symbols, and omens that our heart can interpret clearly. This is wisdom and magic that we must claim as our own. There was once a time where our soul remembers using this power, and we simply have to remember it within ourselves. The activation is present. Once again, we're encouraged to wear the world around our shoulders as a loose cloak, and that all signs and symbols that we receive from Spirit are simply reflections for whatever exists within us already. So we can consider these to be confirmations or validations of that which is already coming through us. And the lyrics that ended this part of the meditation, where we find the light on darker days, we seize the joy through all the pain, we feel the love, won't hesitate, take every chance that comes our way. The little things we appreciate, we fight for truth, a heavy weight, and every win we celebrate.
Sounds like a good song to me. Does anybody have any comments or epitaphs or